Ashton Genty has been hit behind the line of scrimmage more than any player in the National Football League. Yep. So you just gave him the ball in the end zone. Do the math. How's that going to work out?
It's like what I said earlier.
He got hit behind the line of scrimmage. He got tackled in the end zone.
Yeah.
Oh, they're terrible. But the thing is, Brady, you draft offensive linemen before you draft a star running back. Like they went backwards.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
When I think of the European tour, these are the players I'm thinking of, right? So I understand why that they would be so frustrated by all this, but they also know that there are rules in place that, from a competitive standpoint, that if you're a member of this tour, like, you can't go join a rival tour. Like, there's rules in place, just like in any other business.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
The Green Bay area and the Philadelphia area, you would get it on ABC normally.
Yes.
But they didn't have ABC, so they couldn't get it locally.
Yeah, it just, you have to ask the question, like, nobody wants to hear from Bob Iger during the Monday night game when 10 million people are blacked out from watching the game, and you not ask him about when the blackout's going to end.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
The 35 cents, though, for yes on Ohio State.
Yeah.
I like that, Donnie. I think there's value in that right now because we only got, 3 weeks left to go. Then we'll have conference championships. Yeah, the more they keep winning, and they will win, the more that will increase, and that's a pretty good return on an investment there with Kalshi.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
We are live on SportsGrid with Pro Football Today, and we are now joined by NFL insider Adam Caplan. Cap, it is always great to get the chance to talk to you, and I feel as if you and I, out of necessity, not because I am an Eagle fan or because you have great sources in Philadelphia, but because things around the Eagles are just always crazy. I am curious, since we last spoke, have you heard anything around the Philadelphia Eagles as they head into an important divisional matchup against the Dallas Cowboys? A lot of chatter now, and this time it doesn't feel like it's just A.J. Brown. A.J.'s, the non-anonymous version of the chatter. There's a lot of noise around the Eagles. What are you hearing heading into their game against Dallas?
Yeah, Kevin, we talked about this on Game Time Decisions. Just to kind of wrap that up, no one's happy with the pass game. It's not. You're right. It's not just A.J. Brown. It's what people who watch the tape tell me is really simple. The coaches have to do a better job helping Jalen Hurts. He's not having a good year. He didn't have a good year last year throwing the ball, but they somehow won the Super Bowl with him. Every once in a while, Hurts has these games like Pittsburgh. You'll remember the Steeler game in Philly last year. He was phenomenal. Mm-hmm. Probably the second best game of his career. The best one was the Super Bowl in 22, his first one, where he just crushed Steve Spagnuolo's defense. With Hurts, it's very random. And what they want, what people tell me is they got to help Hurts get rid of the football quickly. He's, again, amongst the leaders in holding on the ball too long. From snap to release, it's too long. And the hope is here against a Dallas defense, we're going to talk about them later. The defense has given up a ton of yardage. They give up so many passing touchdowns, 17 to receivers. There's an opportunity to get A.J. Brown back in the game and just getting off to a quick start. And that's another thing. They've got to get Hurts off to a quick start. The way it was explained to me, Kevin, is this. When you coach quarterbacks who are struggling or holding the ball too long, you have what are called openers, where you make it so easy for him that he sees where that ball is going and it's completed. You build his confidence. Then you might expand the passing game because, Kevin, watching these Eagles, the word around the club is that the passing game is so random, you have no idea what you're going to get every week. And it's not just Hurts, it's the coaches. They have to do a better job of helping. That's basically what I've gotten from the last 3 or 4 days. And, by the way, Cam Jurgens will start today at center. That is big. Brett Toth will become the top backup guard and center for this game.
Can I just ask you this question, Cap? Because this is one of the – I'm not naive. I understand why the Eagles' passing game is such a conversation. But I would argue, against anyone, the bigger problem this year is the run game. The run game has been, I actually think, worse than the passing game. There are numbers that back that up by EPA and different measures. What's interesting, though, right, is we talk about how they can change the passing game, right? A couple of route concepts, timing, aggressiveness. Is there anything the Eagles can do to fix the rush attack? Is there anything they internally think, that we're a step off here, a step off there? Because that is the biggest difference year over year with this offense.
Well, obviously, the NFL's best offensive line last season, but here's why. They were healthier, way healthier. Jordan Mailata, their left tackle's not had a great season. He's down in effectiveness. Left guard Landon Dickerson, who had multiple surgeries this year, he's not quite himself. Now, he's getting healthier. He's looked better in recent weeks. Cam Jerkins has been in and out of the lineup. Tyler Steen's a first-year right guard. He's learning a new position. Remember, he was a tackle at Alabama. It's his third year playing tackle, but he's been inconsistent. And Lane Johnson, who's out, their hope is he'll return before the end of the regular season with the Lisfranc sprain. He's not quite himself. So you ask, okay, what's wrong with the run game? Start there. Now, Jeff Stoutland, by the way, their run game coordinator and maybe the NFL's best offensive line coach, he designs the run game. Jamal Singleton coaches Barkley and the running backs. They work great together. They were phenomenal last season, but it's really a combination of injuries. And I would say this, talking to people who've watched the Eagles tape, Barkley's just a hair off. Sometimes he presses a little bit too hard. Because after you have a season, Kevin, that you just talked about it last year, you kind of feel sometimes that you could do anything, and he's not Superman this year. That's very clear.
Cap, I want to stick to that game. It's a 4-26 kick. Yeah. They played Dallas. Dallas stepped up on Monday night against Las Vegas. Defensively, though, those additions have been paying some dividends. What have you found out about the additions that they've made on the defensive side of the football?
Yeah, Joe, I would say this right now with the Cowboys. So the way it's explained to me is this. It wasn't just Quinton Williams, who, by the way, in his first game was absolutely phenomenal. Sack and a half, 5 quarterback hits, 7 quarterback pressures. That's an unbelievable debut. I know the Raiders had issues with their offensive line due to injury coming into the game. The Logan Wilson trade, here's what happened with him, I'm told, with the Bengals. Because Logan Wilson looked like one of the better young backers in the league, and then he got benched. They changed defensive schemes out under Al Golden, the former Miami and Temple head coach. And Golden changed it. Logan Wilson didn't fit, didn't pick it up, so they traded him. They didn't get much back. But he gives him sizes, athleticism at linebacker. You're going to see him probably wind up starting or playing a lot. Now, returning from injury, DeMarvin Overshown. This guy's had 3 major knee injuries. He's a phenomenal football player. He wound up starting that game against the Raiders. Javon Ravel, their third-round pick, corner from East Carolina. He played a bunch of snaps. You're going to see him playing more. And Malik Hooker, who missed 6 games, guys, at safety, he was back for this game. So you're basically adding 5 players, guys, to an awful defense. Now, you can't just snap your fingers and think it's going to work right away, Joe, to answer your question. But they think over time, and we're going to learn tonight at home against Philly, it's probably going to be it's got to be better. Matt Eberflus we've not seen a poor coaching job on defense this season, but there's a reason for it. Not good enough players, lots of zone defense, and you're going to see. I'm very curious how they play the Eagles tonight. And you brought up the run game, and you never know with Saquon Barkley, guys, but their run defense was phenomenal. The Raiders had 12 yards rushing from the running backs on Monday night.
Cap, the interesting news today out of Pittsburgh. We've got the Pro Football Doc who'll join us in a little bit here. Curious to get his insight. I'm wondering if you heard anything. The way this has been reported in places is Rodgers was begging to play, but he understood it wouldn't be his decision. It's not going to be Rodgers. We have seen relationships sometimes be rocky. Maybe he's, 100% A-plus behavior. I'm sure he has the utmost respect for Mike Tomlin. I do think it's interesting. It seems pretty obvious. He was desperate to play in this one, and they're going to hold him out.
Yeah, so here's the way it works. And Dr. Chow will tell you, as he's told me. I've asked Dr. Chow, when he'd come on my show Inside the Birds over the years, he would explain, and the way Bill Polian, Hall of Fame general manager, explained to me, you can never overrule a medical staff. Medical staffs, and Dr. Chow could tell you this, are generally very conservative. They try to err on the side of caution. They also don't want to be wrong. Now, it's Rodgers' left wrist. That's his non-throwing wrist. But what would happen if he gets thrown to the ground? I know he's got some sort of a fracture. We don't know if it's a chip fracture. We don't know the extent of the fracture. But the bottom line is he wanted to play because he could throw the football, and you could wear protection for it. But the medical staff has to be comfortable. It's not just Mike Tomlin's decision; it's always a joint decision, and you just never overrule medical staff. I've learned that many years, covered this business well over 20 years. You don't do that. And Mason Rudolph, talking to the Steelers, by the way, the reason why he's back there as the backup, they think he's one of the better backup quarterbacks in the years. You saw what he did for them a couple years ago. When Trubisky got hurt, didn't play well. Well, you could stick him in there and feel good about it, that the offense could still hum. But the problem with Rudolph is when he has to play 4, 5, and 6 games, then he becomes a backup quarterback, which he is.
Cap, hottest team in the NFL are the Patriots. They've won 8 straight. Travion Henderson really coming on in that offense. Tell us about it.
All right. So I've gotten, Joe, this season more hate on my pumping up Travion Henderson. But what folks don't understand is I never said, and we could talk more about this in the second segment, but I never said he'd start. What I told you is they got 2 veteran running backs ahead of him. Antonio Gibson, who then would suffer an ACL injury. He's out for the season. Ramondre Stevenson was going to be the starter. I never said he wouldn't be. But what I could tell you is it was an issue with the blocking. He was great in college at doing it, but they had a simplified scheme. Under Brian Hartline, the offensive coordinator at Ohio State, here, Josh McDaniel's scheme is much harder to learn for rookies in terms of pass blocking, and it took a little bit longer. That's okay. You just talked about the 2 great games he had, 4 total touchdowns. No matter what you hear, and by the way, Stevenson will play today. I'm told he's got a turf toe injury. They plan, unless something crazy happens with a fumble by Stevenson or a missed block, they plan to play him extensively going forward. He is the juice in that backfield, and he's a tremendous football player. He'll be the guy in the future, by the way. In future years, he'll be the guy.
We're going to have NFL insider Adam Caplan stick around. His insights on Kansas City and Indianapolis and some coaching questions after the break on SportsGrid.
Ashton Genty has been hit behind the line of scrimmage more than any player in the National Football League. Yep. So you just gave him the ball in the end zone. Do the math. How's that going to work out?
It's like what I said
earlier.
He got hit
behind the line of scrimmage. He got tackled in the end zone.
Yeah.
Oh, they're terrible. But the thing is, Brady, you draft offensive linemen before you draft a star running back. Like they went backwards.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
When I think of the European tour, these are the players I'm thinking of, right? So I understand why that they would be so frustrated by all this, but they also know that there are rules in place that, from a competitive standpoint, that if you're a member of this tour, like, you can't go join a rival tour. Like, there's rules in place, just like in any other business.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
The Green Bay area and the Philadelphia area, you would get on ABC normally.
Yes.
But they didn't have ABC, so they couldn't get it locally.
Yeah, it just, you have to ask the question, like, nobody wants to hear from Bob Iger during the Monday night game when 10 million people are blacked out from watching the game, and you not ask him about when the blackout's going to end.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
The 35 cents, though, for yes on Ohio State.
Yeah.
I like that, Donnie. I think there's value in that right now because we only got, 3 weeks left to go. Then we'll have conference championships. Yeah, the more they keep winning, and they will win, the more that will increase, and that's a pretty good return on an investment there with Kalshi.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
We're live on Pro Football Today. Kevin Walsh and Joe Lisi. We are joined by NFL insider Adam Caplan. And, Kat, there's a number of different things that we can get into, but I do think people are always fascinated around head coaching searches. When are jobs going to come available? And one thing that has become more and more prevalent in this space is the predictive markets and who they believe could potentially be that next coach fired. And one of the things that I do think is remarkable about the 2025 NFL season is how many times people have likely lined up to bet on Mike McDaniel and how Mike McDaniel may survive this whole way here. The Dolphins fan base is wondering, can they sneak him to that wild card position somewhere in the AFC? Is there a coach or two who you have a watchful eye on that we may see maybe let go in season potentially, Cap?
Well, I don't know about that. In season, you might see 2 or 3. It typically doesn't happen. But this is the best way, Kevin, for folks, if you're in the predictive market. I know predictive markets are big. I'm on like 10 emails for them, so I'm always fascinated. When their expectations and clubs don't meet them, the coach is going to be on the hot seat for the next season if he survives and is brought back. Now, I could tell you when owners decide to fire head coaches, it's when they think the team is not competitive. Or with the Giants, Brian Dable, they would be competitive, but choke. They know they're not bringing him back. It's rarely a surprise when a head coach is fired in season. It's called sometimes a mercy firing, where you know you're going to fire the guy, just get the thing over with. But again, I'm not suggesting this guy's going to get fired, but I'm telling you, the Falcons have been a major disappointment. Michael Penix towards the ACL, another major knee injury for him, unfortunately. He won't be ready until the summer. The Kirk Cousins situation, which defied logic, why you would give him 2 years fully guaranteed plus a $10 million guarantee year 3 when you knew you wanted to draft Michael Penix or a young quarterback last year, made no sense. So everything with the Falcons is blown up here, despite a above average roster, Kevin. That the reason why I brought them up is when folks look at that club, they go, how could this team be so bad? They've had some tough losses, but that's a team that is underachieved. So that's one where we got to look at and be real here. They should have been way better than they have so far this season.
Speaking of underachieving, Cap, the Chiefs, 5-5, fighting for their playoff lives today against the Indianapolis Colts. What gives? What's wrong with the Chiefs this year?
Joe, it's a great question. It's funny because if you look at the team, the visiting team will be in Arrowhead Stadium today. The Colts, that's a team we didn't see being 8-2 or being even a playoff team, right? They're usually mediocre around Chris Ballard, the general manager, for 8 years. But what's happened here with the Chiefs is this. Offensively, here's everything that I've told from people I've talked to this week, because I've been looking into this. I'm stunned. I didn't see this. Obviously, I picked them to be a playoff team. They still could be getting a wild card. But the bottom line is with the Chiefs, Joe, there's been a timing issue with Patrick Mahomes and his pass target group. Yes, Travis Kelce's actually, you know what? For a guy who looked like he was toast last season, Joe, looks pretty good, 12.6 yards per catch. He's not the problem. Rashee Rice comes back, guys, off of 6-game suspension. He's been productive, but under 10 yards per catch, 9.6. He's usually a run after the catch guy. They're not getting those big run after the catch receptions from him. Hollywood Brown, as fast as he is, where are the big catches? Andy Reid and Matt Nagy have not gotten it right yet in the passing game. And not that they've ever had a great running game. Isaiah Pacheco, they were hopeful coming off the MCL sprain he'd be ready today. He is not. They haven't got anything out of the run game. Kareem Hunt, by the way, still can play. Excellent pass protector, pass catcher, grinder at running back, not explosive. Brashard Smith, they want to see get involved more as a changeup. They don't run the ball particularly well. They've had problems with their offensive line. With all the changes, they've had several on their offensive line. So you asked my question. You asked me the question, Joe. What's happened with their offense? I just gave the outline. And defensively, not good at corner. They've got one solid corner, McDuffie. He's not the biggest guy in the world. Pass rusher hasn't been good enough. They don't tackle particularly well. All of this stuff I'm giving you, I did not know. Like, no one would have known about this coming into the season, because it's never one thing. But this team is, I'm shocked, guys. I know they're America's team with the odds makers. I'll be honest with you. I think I'd be surprised if the Colts don't cover this 3.5-point number. I know it depends which book you look at. I know the Colts are not the greatest road team in the world, and I know they're an indoor team, but the Chiefs do not impress me. They just don't. They've been to me. They're a top 3 disappointment. I don't know about for you guys, but they're top 3. Are they the most disappointing team? Not quite yet, but they're top 3 being most disappointing.
Cap, we had you on a little longer today because there's so much going on in the NFL, and we almost didn't get to what some would argue is one of the biggest things happening today, despite the records of the two teams. Raiders-Browns, Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah.
And this is one of these situations, Cap, where it seems like everybody has a super strong opinion. Have you heard anything around Shedeur playing for a half last week, or maybe even heading into the game here against the Raiders?
Yeah, so a couple things about his performance last week. So I know the numbers were terrible. I think it was 416 without looking. He had a couple of really nice passes. There was a drop in there. It's hard, man, when you don't work with the ones at all. He didn't have any first-team snaps last week, I was told. So he got them all this week. That decision was made no matter how Dylan Gabriel was doing coming back from concussion. they wanted to go with Shador, I believe, from what I've heard, because they want to take a look at him. They're in what we call evaluation mode. Dylan Gabriel's a backup. Okay, he has no chance to be a starter. He could be a quality backup, but Shador's got much more talent. So, guys, here's what I'm told about Shador. Let's just look at what happened in the draft. He had second or third round grade from a performance standpoint. Major issues with football character, maturity, handling everything, and clubs were uncomfortable with him. You're not going to bring in a guy in your building you're not comfortable with, but Cleveland is looking for their future quarterback. He's very talented. He's not a runner, by the way. He's not a runner. He's a pocket passer who's got a good enough arm, not a rocket. He throws well from the pocket. It's just a situation where he's got to grow up a little bit. This is a good chance for him here on the road against a suspect defense. And to me, he can get off to a good start. And by the way, their pass to our group is good enough. It's not bad. For all the Browns fans and the complainers about, they're sticking Shador in a tough spot. No, they're not. He got the ones, and they've got talent around him. And I like Judkins, and it's going to start with Quinshon Judkins today. He's a really good back. He should do very well today.
This is going to be a very, very fun game to follow. I think it is going to be met with a lot of conversation, undoubtedly, again, despite two terrible teams. Also, Cap, I know you do your awards. Could you ever imagine you're going to give a guy Defensive Player of the Year on like a 3-win football team? Because that's where we're headed with Myles Garrett and that sack record, by the way. He's a huge favorite, Cap.
I got to tell you, it's funny, I was doing a Brent pod earlier this week, but the best performance I've ever seen in my career at a practice was Myles Garrett for 2 days against the Eagles this summer. They could not handle him. It was the most ridiculous. He was toying with them, Kevin.
He's amazing.
It was an unbelievable thing I've seen in my life. It's so funny you brought this up. Yes, he will be my Defensive Player of the Year.
Great insight. We've got the Pro Football Doc, Dr. David Chow, joining us next.
Ashton Jeanty has been hit behind the line of scrimmage more than any player in the National Football League. Yep. So you just gave him the ball in the end zone. Do the math. How's that going to work out?
It's like what I said earlier.
He got hit behind the line of scrimmage. He got tackled in the end zone.
Yeah.
Oh, they're terrible. But the thing is, Brady, you draft offensive linemen before you draft a star running back. Like they went backwards.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
When I think of the European tour, these are the players I'm thinking of, right? So I understand why that they would be so frustrated by all this, but they also know that there are rules in place that, from a competitive standpoint, that if you're a member of this tour, like, you can't go join a rival tour. Like, there's rules in place, just like in any other business.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
The Green Bay area and the Philadelphia area, you would get it on ABC normally.
Yes.
But they didn't have ABC, so they couldn't get it locally.
Yeah, it just, you have to ask the question, like, nobody wants to hear from Bob Iger during the Monday night game when 10 million people are blacked out from watching the game, and you not ask him about when the blackout's going to end.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
The 35 cents, though, for yes on Ohio State.
Yeah.
I like that, Donnie. I think there's value in that right now because we only got, 3 weeks left to go. Then we'll have conference championships. Yeah, the more they keep winning, and they will win, the more that will increase, and that's a pretty good return on an investment there with Kalshi.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
We are live with you on SportsGrid, and it is time to talk to the Pro Football Doc, Dr. David Chow, and get some insight and information to help you make these bets, set these lineups. And I will tell people this. We get a little bit of, insight into, maybe some of the key spots. There is a note here on one of the sick player edges that made me smile ear to ear because it is one of the... It is one of the most remarkable things I've seen. Let's bring in the Pro Football Doc, Dr. David Chow. Doc, it is always good to talk to you. I'll mention the sick player edge in a moment. I want to start with this, though. Joe Burrow, The Cincinnati Bengals, a ton of conversation leading up to this game this week. A full participant early in the week, does not play. What have you and the team over at SixScore.com made about Cincinnati's quarterback?
First of all, Kevin, what a great tease. I'm curious myself what you're going to point out. Second of all, Joe Burrow, look, I think there was no way he was ever 100%. But I think the intention was with the 3-7 record, we can't have 8 losses. We play the Patriots, Ravens, Bills, Ravens. That's a gauntlet, 4 games there. Let's see if we can get him back. He's doing well. But he went FP, great, and then reverted a little bit, LP. Not necessarily a setback, but probably soreness. Gave first-team reps to Flacco. They're still targeting Thursday. They're still targeting the Thanksgiving game. Won't be 100%. 100% shotgun for Joe Burrow, nothing under center. We'll see what happens, but that's what they're now targeting.
Now, the player edge that I am referring to, and again, the notes are what they say. There's a couple of guys, they have the deltas, there's big smashes. Stephon Diggs, Bengals injured secondary, but also baby born this week. Doc, are you telling me that new dad boost is a part of the sick player system?
Oh, that's just a note, in terms of the week and different things. I was wondering where you were going with that, Kevin.
I love it.
Part of it also is Trey Hendrickson with the pass rush isn't there, right? And a healthy O-line. And that's what we look at. It's not just Stephon Diggs' health. It's the defensive matchup, pass rush, DBs, but also offensive line, etc. And we still don't expect, even though Butte is back, that he's going to get full reps and full targets. So there's a little bit of a shift to Diggs there as well.
Doc, when you look at this divisional matchup, Minnesota and Green Bay, Minnesota looks like the more healthy team. You have a SIX score of 91.4, Green Bay at 80. Tell us about those breakdowns injury-wise for both teams.
Well, Minnesota is getting healthier. The only miss is Jonathan Grenard with the shoulder issue. Ryan O'Neal, their center, is back. And look, we all know centers are important, especially when you're a really good center like the Vikings have, but also it helps out a young quarterback in terms of the line calls and protections. So that will be key. But on the other side of the ball, Green Bay has some defensive issues with Quay Walker, but offensively, no Josh Jacobs, still no Jaden Reed, no Matthew Golden. All the other wide receivers at some point during the week were on the injury report. And, of course, we already know Tucker Kraft, the tight end, out for the season. And, of course, no Elton Jenkins, their center. So the injury matchup favors 9 and the Vikings.
This is going to be a really, really fun slate here to follow, Doc. And there were a few six-score spots that certainly, jump off of the page. But I wanted to bring up something. I know it's Monday night, but just on the chance we don't get to talk to you, because you guys, again, great with the sides, the information, but there was a player edge for Panthers 49ers that I thought it would be really important to get some insight from you on here involving the Carolina side of that game.
Yeah, well, here's the thing there. Rico Dowdle has been motivated, contract year, offensive line healthy, D-line issues for the 49ers. And I don't have the numbers in front of me, but he was plus 60-some% this week on the player edge.
Yeah, highest number of the week, I think, like plus 62.1. So I wanted to mention that. Doc, before we let you go, and we appreciate it as always, the Aaron Rodgers situation in Pittsburgh, can you give us your insight on that?
Yeah, I think Aaron Rodgers wanted to play. Mike Tomlin was considering playing him all shotgun. But then again, the Steelers are usually mostly in shotgun. But I think medical said, yes, if he falls on it the wrong way, it could hurt, it could get worse, and discretion, the better part of valor there. You need all three parties, the player, the team, and the doctor to sign off. And I think the doctor was probably a little hesitant, but expect Aaron Rodgers next week.
Okay. It's a little that's It's an interesting spot there. I wonder how Rodgers is dealing with it. But, Doc, we appreciate it, as always. The Pro Football Doc, Dr. David Chow. Get over to SixScore.com. Everything that you need to make these bets. I use it every week. That is the real deal. We got the whip around next right here on SportsGrid.
Ashton Genty has been hit behind the line of scrimmage more than any player in the National Football League. So you just gave him the ball in the end zone. Do the math. How's that going to work out?
It's like what I said
earlier. He got hit behind the line of
worst
scrimmage.
problem
He
on
got
this team
tackled
is the
in the
offensive
end zone.
line. Yeah.
Oh, they're terrible. But the thing
No
is,
surprise.
Brady, you draft offensive linemen before you draft a star running back. Like they went backwards.
In-game live only on SportsGrid.
When I think of the European tour, these are the players I'm thinking of, right? So I understand why that they would be so frustrated by all this, but they also know that there are rules in place that, from a competitive standpoint, that if you're a member of this tour, like, you can't go join a rival tour. Like, there's rules in place, just like in any other business.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
The Green Bay area and the Philadelphia area, you would get on ABC normally.
Yes.
But they didn't have ABC, so they couldn't get it locally.
Yeah, it just you have to ask the question, like, nobody wants to hear from Bob Iger during the Monday night game when 10 million people are blacked out from watching the game, and you not ask him about when the blackout's going to end.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
The 35 cents, though, for yes on Ohio State.
Yeah.
I like that, Donnie. I think there's value in that right now because we only got, 3 weeks left to go. Then we'll have conference championships. Yeah, the more they keep winning, and they will win, the more that will increase, and that's a pretty good return on an investment there with Kalshi.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Is it whip around time already?
Love
Reese, how do you feel?
I feel good.
Feel?
I'm trying to put in some stuff here.
Yeah, but you're starting to see it clearly, starting to feel. I know for you, it kind of all materializes throughout a show. That confidence comes in. We feel all right?
Yeah, I'm not. I like the one. I'm on the total in Pittsburgh and Chicago now. I put that in. Mm-hmm. You know, that's still one of my better bets at one.
Claire.
But the one, I struggle like this Minnesota Green Bay game.
All right, well, you know what?
Yeah, I just struggle with it because McCarthy is terrible.
Uh-huh.
And it's just like, how could you be a starting quarterback in the NFL, complete 16 of 32 passes? He doesn't get Justin Jefferson or Addison the football till late in the fourth quarter, and the rah-rah stuff is getting enough. I'm tired of the face paint, JJ. I'm tired of he's almost like the kicker that misses a field goal and he wants to headbutt everybody. No, you throw a pick, he comes over to the sidelines. I know it's on me.
Yeah.
All right, wake up.
All right.
Stop.
All right, Joe. Let's start. We'll get to all these games. We'll stop wherever you want. But you mentioned something to me in the break. Kansas City, all conservative Kev waiting here around, cautious, wait, best of the number. Nope, not anymore. 3, how about 4.5 now popping for the Kansas City Chiefs against the Indianapolis Colts? Arguably, Joe, the biggest game on this slate is up to 4.5 now in favor of KC. Total 49.5. What are you doing with this one?
I still like the Colts, and I just took them now. I took the Colts with the 4.5. Again, 24-20, you still cover. I think it's going to be a very tight game. I think there's, to your point, more pressure on Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes. Not that they can't handle it, but they're going to have to do everything right. I do lean to the under because I think they play it like a playoff game. A perception is that they're going to go and they're going to, Pat Mahomes 350 in this game, and let's see if we could outduel Daniel Jones. I don't know if they take that type of approach. They were tight last week against Denver.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's like they don't want to open it up to see what happens. It's almost like, and that's where they're getting into trouble right now. You know, again, you have the best quarterback potentially in the NFL, supposedly, right?
Yep.
3-time Super Bowl champ. Utilize him. You know, they have the problem with Kansas City, Kev. They do not have a consistent rushing attack. They don't have a bell cow. Yes, Hunt is good and Pacheco at times, you know, but they don't have a consistent rushing attack. You take Pat Mahomes' rushing yards out of that offense, they're pedestrian.
Yeah, I think this is a spot, though, Joe, where they've lost 2 in a row, and they don't lose 3 in a row. And I know we go, oh, this year's different. Sure, maybe they'll lose next week, but I don't think that Kansas City is going to be losing 3 straight or 4 straight or 5 straight. They lost last week in Denver. Let's be very clear. Denver's pretty good this year. Kansas City was right there. They absolutely could have won that game. It's not as if they were smashed or dominated in that spot. We expect a tight affair. Now, I will say, I wanted a 3. This number continuing to climb, I think you're at a point now where if you're expecting Kansas City to cover a 4.5-point number, you're expecting, I think, this offense to roll. And maybe the defense can shut it down. I would look more towards Mahomes props. I know there's a 3+ passing touchdown, passing plus rushing touchdown market. I think there's maybe a little temptation there for me in this market. I think Mahomes' rush yards, I look towards Mahomes in this game. He is why I like them in this spot. Cincinnati, New England, Joe, you and I agree on this one. 7.5 with Joe Flacco. We're going to take the dog here with the Cincinnati Bengals. Big time total, it's 50.5. I think Cincinnati legitimately could strike the upset over the Patriots. I think they could be in a little bit of a lull due to the fact that Joe Burrow's not quarterbacking. Cincinnati has been able to hang more often than not, actually, with Joe Flacco under center.
Yeah, to your point, we talk about the dominance of New England, 8 straight wins, but 5-0 on the road. It's right on the number. They have won those 5 games by an average margin of victory of 7.6 points per game. I know Cincinnati's defense is suspect, but I still think that you could throw on New England. And Baker did that in the second half, and I know it was in garbage time, but I think Joe could do it without Jamar Chase, and I'm stepping up. I like the Bengals plus the points. Do like Gesicki to get involved in that offense. Do like Chase Brown anytime touchdown. Did get a good number on Chase Brown anytime. Took him in even money. I think he's down to minus 115 now. So, you know, I think Chase Brown potentially could hit pay dirt.
Steelers, Bears, this number was 2.5. Rodgers ruled out. Goes to 3. Back down towards 2.5 here. It looks like there's enough love in the market for Pittsburgh. There are still some flat 3s out there. I lean Steelers, but not enough to get there. I do think Caleb Williams could have himself a better day against this defense. I wish this was your favorite bet of the day. That's okay. I like where you're talking about total-wise here, 46 on a hook.
Yeah, and you got an extra point in discount because we're seeing 45.5s in the market right now. I did take the over. I think both offenses will look to push a little bit of tempo. I'm not sold on Pittsburgh. I like what Ben Johnson, I like what Caleb Williams have done this year. They're finding ways to win. I know their defense isn't as good, but I still think they're better than the Steelers. Steelers are an aging defense. They were able to beat up on Cincinnati. I don't think they could do it here. I think it's Chicago and the over. I do like DJ Moore anytime touchdown. I think he's got a plus 240 price. And again, DeAndre Swift back in that lineup. I like him on the ground as well.
All right, let's keep moving through this slate here, Joe. The Jets and the Ravens. We've not talked much about this one. Uh-oh.
Oh, Bo, what now? What?
I thought I wasn't going to bet this game.
You did?
This thing's back to 14.5.
Don't do it.
Oh, come on. I got to bet. Yeah, I'm not at 14.5. Joe, this thing was down to 13.5 everywhere. Tyrod Taylor could go out there and give this team a spark, some spunk.
No, come on.
14.5. You're laying it?
No, I'm not touching. I'm not touching the Jet team.
I got to get involved, I think.
I don't like any props in the.
I mean, wow.
I do. I shouldn't say that. I like Lamar on the ground. I think he could break out, maybe score a touchdown.
Really?
He's got. I think he's plus 220 today to score a touchdown. I got to look and see where I booked it, but I like Lamar on the ground today. I think he breaks contain again, especially if the Jets are over aggressive. Jets receiving game is terrible. A.D. Mitchell has got cinder blocks for hands.
At 14.5.
Come on, you can't. Don't do it,
Jets
Kev.
might be an ATS wagon. Not enough people are talking about that. They won 2 straight. They pushed against New England. Almost covered that game.
Nah,
We're getting 14 and a half.
Okay.
What if the Jets win it outright?
Outright. I hope that. Okay.
I don't know.
All right.
14 and a half.
I like a bigger dog today.
I don't think there is a bigger dog.
Well, not like meaning like double.
I got you. Okay. Fair enough. Fair is fair. Titans Seahawks?
Yeah, love the Titans.
Joey.
You like that too? Here's the perception.
You can't shake me.
Here's the perception. Oh, this dominant road team, right? And they lost the game outright, but they covered.
Yep.
Now the perception is, Tennessee's terrible. We know they're terrible.
Of course.
But here's the thing. I think it's a sleepy Seattle team at 1 o'clock. This is more of a Zach Charbonnet, Kenneth Walker. Let's not risk Sam Darnold turning into a pumpkin at Tennessee.
Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold, as they call him.
7 interceptions on the road this year. You might say, well, through 4 last week. Exactly. First time this season they're playing back-to-back road games.
It started 2 weeks ago. It started. They made Jacoby Brissett look terrible, right, with the 2 scooping scores. But Darnold had a couple of turnovers in that game that looked like he was back with the New York Jets. Look, it's an ugly game. I don't like the props in the game.
No.
I do like the Titans to cover. This was 13.5 at the start of the week. We saw some. Now,
what'd you book it at?
I'm going to book it at 12.5.
Same.
I like the Titans to keep it close.
I agree. I'll say this, and I might be nuts. I think some of the worst teams in this league have a chance to become a bit of ATS wagons here. And I think that could be Tennessee. Hey, don't look now. Covered against the Chargers, covered against the Texans, off a bye. Hey, Cam Ward, at some point, maybe look awesome. Is that on the board? Could Cam Ward look great in this game? On the season, 6 passing touchdowns? Can he throw 2 today for the first time in his young career? The Cam Ward stuff's not great, folks. It's not great. What is great is we still have plenty of games to get to with you. We've got Vikings, Packers, and 9, as they call them. Jameis Winston is on the board. The Kelly Greens are in the mix. Oh, my word. We'll be right back here on SportsGrid.
You need Justin Jefferson on that wall in the playoffs. Like, you got to go get him. He is still the man. I understand the JJ week last. Like, I get it. It was ugly. There were a lot of spots where, where's he throwing that ball to? What's he doing? It'll be fine. Justin Jefferson's far too talented, and McCarthy will continue to figure it out. But it's the target volume you want. He gets double-digit targets every week. He is arguably the best wide receiver in the NFL.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
Oh boy, this is not going to go away, folks. This betting scandal that involved Terry Rozier, that involved Jonte Porter last year, and then obviously with Chauncey Billups getting involved and stuff like that, this is not going away. This is not good. And this is not the end of this scandal.
Pro Basketball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Players behind the scenes have complained about Hurts' unwillingness to throw through tight windows against zone coverage. I told you Friday, Kevin, that Jalen Hurts takes the path of least resistance. He holds on to the ball. He doesn't like making those tighter throws. Though he loves making deeper throws, which it's interesting. Over 20 yards, he's one of the best in the National Football League.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Football contest season is back, and so is the Las Vegas Football Contest Show. Season 2, the sharpest football contest show in the land. Focusing on all 3 Circus Sports contests and the Westgate Superbook Super Contest, we handicap the games and release our contest picks every week of the season. Featuring Super Contest champions Brady Cannon, James Salinas, and former NFL player Mike Pritchard, all team will have you prepared this season like none other. Check us out every weekend right here on SportsGrid.
Oh, yeah. Guess what?
What?
Jets plus 14.5.
Come on, that's terrible.
Add it to my card. Giants, Lions.
Ugly game.
13.5.
Disgusting. What is it? Every time Detroit loses over the last couple of years, they come out.
That's what they tell me.
I hate this game. I can only look Detroit. I think it's a dead under, by the way. 50.5. I think that Kafka on the road, can't get into a shootout with Jared Goff in the Dome. I think they run the football or try at least. And again, Jameis Winston could be knocked down and sacked potentially 8 times in this matchup. Props-wise, on tertiary options for the Giants, Isaiah Hodgins over 18.5 receiving. I do like Jahmyr Gibbs in the receiving game today, over his total.
But to be clear, you said under in this game?
Under.
I've heard some people like the over. That's all I'll tell you. I've heard some people like the over in the game. I am torn due to the banged-up Lions offensive line, but the situational spot. I kind of washed my hands of this game here. Vikings-Packers. Joe? I love over 41. I love over 41. Joe, ready for this? Favorite total of the day.
Come on.
Is over 41. Kevin O'Connell's group has not scored 20 in consecutive games. That doesn't happen 3 straight. They get theirs. You and I have always agreed on this. I don't mind Josh Jacobs being out for Green Bay. I think Jordan Love can still move it. Going up against the Blitzer. Last year, they scored 25-plus in each matchup against the Vikings here. I think we got a high-scoring affair. Something like 28-23 maybe final score.
I mean,
over the number.
I hope, because I'm on Addison props. Justin Jefferson, I altered him down just because I'm not even confident J.J. McCarthy can get him the football. But I do like the Tavian Wicks today. He's back in the lineup. I know everybody's looking at Watson. Everybody's looking at Dobbs. Give me Tavian Wicks anytime touchdown. I lean to, because of the divisional game, and Minnesota has shown an ability to play close in divisional matchups, I'll take the points.
Yeah.
But I don't feel confident about it in any way. And I lean to the under just because of how bad J.J. McCarthy is. I mean, at some point, I don't know what you do.
Stop bashing him. He's got a total to get through. Now, Joe, you ready? Joe, you ready? This isn't a rolly, but rolly on my wrist is perfect timing. Shador Sanders against the Raiders. Lacey, what do you like here?
What do you like here? Listen, legendary. I'm taking that. Here's what I know. As bad as the Browns and Raiders are.
Now, I know this will feature in Sell Me Something. Don't spoil anything like that.
No, but you have a great defense. Let's be honest.
Myles Garrett, superstar.
Superstar. And in this offensive line, and I'm tired of seeing Geno. Hey, Geno, you're down 22 points. Let's let the play clock go to 0 on every play with about 10 minutes left. And then complain to your offensive lineman. He's another one. He should get hit so many times today that maybe they put it in Aiden O'Connell. And Pete Carroll, too. Oh, why don't you run Ashton Genty more? You can't run. They can't run the football. Chip Kelly's old. This team is terrible. Give me Stefanski. Legendary.
Look, I agree with in terms of the side, but I'm on Quinshon Judkins over 69.5 rushing yards. Great spot for Judkins here, where he could potentially see 25 carries in this game. Judkins last week was the first time he received 17 carries and did not have 80 yards in the game. He has an 18.5 attempts prop there. It lets you know what you need to know. Jaguars Cardinals under the radar game here, Joe. 2.5 starting to evaporate. Some 2, some 1.5 out there. I lean Arizona. I think this is an ugly game. There's weird health spots here. I lost a little bit of confidence in this spot throughout the week.
I like Jacksonville. I think they're the more complete team. I love Travis Etienne on the ground, but I will say this is great as Jacoby Brissett was with the 47 completions.
Yeah.
If they plan on actually winning games, they have to play this game the way they did against Dallas. Short to intermediate throws, look to run the football more consistently, because they've tried to get into shootouts with these teams like San Francisco and some of the others. They're getting smashed. It's great that Jacoby Brissett is putting up numbers, but they're coming in garbage time. It's because they're down by 20 and 30 points. They're an absolute idiot coaching staff and Jonathan Gannon and the offensive coordinator. You're not going to win games. They're going to have to run the football. Bam Knight and Michael Carter are the only 2 running backs there because DeMar Carter is inactive tonight. I like Bam Knight. He got going a little bit. His number's 42.5. They need to get him through that. Forget McBride. Forget everybody. Michael Wilson. They're not going to win the game if they play an up-tempo type of attack. They're going to get smashed.
I'm going to save 2 games because they're going to feature in best bets. Cowboys-Eagles, Joe. 3-point line here in Dallas for the Philadelphia Eagles. Wearing the Kelly Green. Saquon Barkley over the receiving, 15.5. one of my favorite props here on this slate today. I am also laying the 3 with Philadelphia. If this is more about fading Dallas than backing Philly, I think you can make cases to back Philly. Defensively, they have looked special these past 2 weeks. Winning both games, one in Green Bay and then a short week at home against Detroit, is as impressive as it gets. But this is about fading a 4-5-1 team being discussed like a 7-3 group. That is not who the Cowboys are. They've let people down every single time it looked like they were going to go up a tier. Dak has been his worst against the best, and I still think this Cowboys defense can be had.
Double-digit win. I think it's the Eagles are busted, and I love the way the defense is playing. I do feel it's the passing attack. I think Hurts breaks out. So does Smith and Goddard and AJ. I think you could alter all of those numbers up. You look at the matchups on the road in Dallas in this series with Jalen Hurts. He has always stepped up in this spot, and I don't think it's anything different. This is the best team in football. In my opinion, I'm not backing down. If this was the Chiefs, we'd be, saying how dominant they were of a football team. Dallas is frauds. They're maybe a dark horse for a wild card. At best, their defense is going to get exposed today.
All right, quickly before we hit the break here, there are some markets out there for the team to select first overall, who's going to have the worst record in this. Although I do think it would be interesting if the grading would include a trade for this market. It says which team will make the first overall pick, and I thought this was just worth bringing up here because it has the Tennessee Titans as the favorite. No matter what Cam Ward looks like, especially when you factor in this quarterback class, the Tennessee Titans will not be drafting a quarterback at first overall. So if the Titans do finish with the worst record, which they are favored to do, would they be inclined to trade that pick? I think it's why the Jets are trending in this market. It's one of the things to watch is that college season, regular season is coming to a close, and you're going to start to get a little bit more intel around what teams are looking for, who teams are favoring. Just see something to keep in mind out there with some of the options you can find over there on those predictive markets. But we are running up against the break here on Pro Football Today. We have best bets for you, a total and a side, along with a sell me something you will not want to miss. Kevin Walsh and Joe Lisi right here on SportsGrid.
You need Justin Jefferson on that wall in the playoffs. Like, you got to go get him. He is still the man. I understand the JJ week last. I get it. It was ugly. There were a lot of spots where, where's he throwing that ball to? What's he doing? It'll be fine. Justin Jefferson's far too talented, and McCarthy will continue to figure it out. But it's the target volume you want. He gets double-digit targets every week. He is arguably the best wide receiver in the NFL.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
Oh boy, oh boy. This is not going to go away, folks. This betting scandal that involved Terry Rozier, that involved Jonte Porter last year, and then obviously with Chauncey Billups getting involved and stuff like that, this is not going away. This is not good. And this is not the end of this scandal.
Pro Basketball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Players behind the scenes who complain about Hurts' unwillingness to throw through tight windows against zone coverage. I told you Friday, Kevin, that Jalen Hurts takes the path of least resistance. He holds on to the ball. He doesn't like making those tighter throws. Though he loves making deeper throws, which it's interesting. Over 20 yards, he's one of the best in the National Football League.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Football contest season is back, and so is the Las Vegas Football Contest Show. Season 2, the sharpest football contest show in the land. Focusing on all 3 Circus Sports contests and the Westgate Superbook Super Contest, we handicap the games and release our contest picks every week of the season. Featuring Super Contest champions Brady Cannon, James Salinas, and former NFL player Mike Pritchard, all team will have you prepared this season like none other. Check us out every weekend right here on SportsGrid.
Pro Football Today with you here on SportsGrid. Kevin Walsh and Joe Lisi. It is best bet time. Joe, once again, in the 4 o'clock window with the total. What do you like, my man?
So it's up to 40.5 now, but I'm going with old man Kirk Cousins and the kid Tyler Shuck.
Yes.
Shootout. This potentially could be like the Thursday night primetime Baker Mayfield, Kirk Cousins, where Kirk reverts back to 500 yards and potentially 4 to 5 touchdowns. Give me a little Kyle Pitts. Give me a little Darnell Mooney. Up, and away. This game could be in the 50s, Kev.
50s. 50s. Man, I'll tell you this, Joe. You know I root you in. It doesn't speak to me the way some of your others have, but I will also add this. That does usually mean it will end up in the 50s. That's usually a bread and butter spot for you. I thought I would be on the Saints, but they flipped the favorites. At this point now, I'm going to leave it alone. A Kirk Cousins start. It'll be interesting to watch this one play out. Best bets, listen, a lot of times we lock these in overnight, so I don't want to just – I am on Tampa Bay plus 7.5 at -115. I said this earlier on in our show. I think if you would like to bet Tampa Bay, you can. You could probably go out there and buy the hook, not all too expensive. Maybe ESPN bet with the best of those numbers there, just trying to look around different markets right now because their 7 is at even money. 7.5 is an outrage, all in all. Tampa Bay, though, is still going to absolutely be on this card as one of my favorite sides at +7. I think the Bucs are live in this game. I think the Rams are off a come-down spot, having played that one of the most important games of their season against the Seattle Seahawks. I think defensively they could look a little lax today. I don't think that offense has been as crisp as everybody else necessarily feels. That's how I see it. I think it's Baker and the Bucs to bounce back. He and Bowles have had pedigree. Yep. I understand that they are up against it, but this is also, I think, a tough team to knock off. They would have, if you call it in terms of a 7, they would have backdoored it against the Pats, and they almost backdoored it against the Bucs. I think against the Bills, it's too big a number here. Give me Tampa Bay against the Rams.
I like the 3-1 too. I think they could potentially win the game outright.
I hear you.
Baker as a dog is going to be live. He's going to be barking. The dog in Baker's going to be barking.
Speaking of Baker, I'm going to bat first here on Sell Me Something.
All right, good.
I have a 5-leg parlay.
Wow, you went my way.
Yeah, and it, by the way, just gets over the Lisi single play Sell Me Something. That's how locked in our guy is. 2+ passing touchdown parlay. There's that passing prop boost over on DK. Maybe you'd like to use this there. 5 guys for 2 passing touchdowns. Some numbers, some vibes. It all comes together. Lamar, Mahomes, Caleb, Hurts, and Baker. I ask you this, Lisi. Of the 5, who do you like the most?
I like Caleb and I like Baker.
My man always gives you multiple answers. That guy, it's why he is the absolute best. It is why he's the absolute best. Lamar, to me, is in a bounce-back spot. Mahomes, I think, needs a big day. Caleb's been due for multiple. Steelers are vulnerable there. Dallas defense stinks for Hurts. And then Baker, I think, can close it out in that big spot there against the L.A. Rams. Lisi, sell me something.
So, he looked terrible last week. Shador, legendary. Sanders, what did he complete? 4 of 16?
Something
like that. 23, 43 yards. And he's getting the start today. How bad is that Raiders secondary?
Bad.
They are terrible.
Terrible.
And I know you're going in with Quinshawn Judkins, right? I'm going the other way. He's going to revert back to his days in Colorado.
Yeah.
A little out and up, a little wheel route out of Quinshawn Judkins. Give me the tight end Fannin and the Joko over the middle. Not 200. Not 250, as high as it went on FanDuel. 275 at 14-1. He's legendary.
Lacey, I always love the opportunity to get you in an extra level. I know, again, you're a loyal guy. You like to look in one spot. 300 yards, 27-1. Dropping number. Dropping number. It was 33-1 last night. You think I wasn't? First of all, sold. I want to just say this.
He looked terrible, but I'm giving him the – here's the thing. I don't want to bash him.
Hold on.
I will give him the benefit of the doubt. One start.
Yeah.
And if he's prepared, you gotta open the playbook. You can't give it, and I understand you, but his first career start, take the training wheels off and let him rip.
Look, I'll just say this. Shador looked awful against the Ravens. I heard someone this week suggest this may be the worst quarterback the NFL has ever seen. How dare you? it's time for you to learn about perfect timing. And to Lisi's point, remember that TCU game?
Yeah.
Here they come. What is this Dion Colorado group going to be? A TCU team that was in the national championship. 510 passing yards.
Legendary.
4 passing touchdowns. Now, I'm on Judkins, so in a way it's a bit of a zag, but Lisi, I love what you're bringing to the table here, my man.
Now, if he goes out and throws for 302 touchdowns, then what?
Well, then he might be MVP. For Joe Lisi, I'm Kevin Wallace. Pro Football Today. In-game live is next.